I'm going to entertain this one. Now, this isn't like there's nothing happening here, but it is an interesting topic to discuss. And I know, like, Chris Snyder, he's probably buzzing right now, okay? And if you know me, you know I've bitched about the Prom Night remake quite a bit. I think Andy sent this to me. And yeah, Andy Uriel. I think he's the one that sent this to me. He sent me a couple stories, but Andy, thank you for those stories on Instagram you sent me. But I couldn't help but like read through this, and I read through this, and there's no like announcement or anything, but it just made me think back to my disdain for the Prom Night remake. And I'll say I don't hate the movie. I still don't like the movie, but I'd say I don't hate the movie as much as I used to. And I have a reason for that. Okay, I have a reason for that. When I first saw this movie, I had not seen Prom Night 2 yet. Hello, Mary Lou. When I saw that movie, I realized this is not a continuation of the first Prom Night. This is a completely different story. So, in that sense, technically, the one of the biggest reasons that I'm bugged about the Prom Night remake, it kind of is committed by Prom Night 2 as well. So it's not really a good reason. This is one of those franchises that doesn't lean on one particular story, okay? So in that sense, I have to take it back and I have to give a little bit of credit to the movie. It's not a crime that they completely went a different direction with the characters, with the actual story. It was just a killer that was a stalker in the remake, and it's a good story, but I think this was a situation where a PG-13 slasher can be at its worst, because every kill was a cutaway in this movie. It definitely felt like one of those teeny bopper CW type movies in terms of the casting and the way they were acting. Don't get me wrong, I really like Brittany Snow. You know, I think Brittany Snow's a fine actress, but I don't know. This is just one of those movies that every day there was just something about it just that annoyed the living shit out of me when I was watching it. You know, and I think it's just the big prom moments in the movie that kind of take up the whole like middle of the movie, and then in the actual supposedly scary tension-filled stuff, it just didn't deliver for me. It just didn't deliver. Even the killer himself, the way he acted was pretty sadistic, but there just wasn't payoff, you know. And I need payoff, and I think PG-13 slashers, they can be successful if what they're leaning more towards is like tension, but this didn't really have that too much either. So I don't know. I've been meaning to review it, but before I review it, I'm going to give it another fair watch. I have changed my mind on movies in the past. I'll give it a fair watch, and if my mind changes, I'll definitely let you guys know. But for some reason, and I'll tell you that, you know what, I won't even read through the story because I already did for you, and I don't want to like waste your time. But the reason this kind of got like a news story in the first place was because Prom Night was, I guess it debuted to Netflix recently. And for some reason, I guess the thinking here is because it came to Netflix, is there buzz about a sequel? And if you read through that story, there really is no buzz about a sequel whatsoever. Now, I can read, like, Brittany Murphy had a statement. Not Brittany Murphy, I'm sorry. Brittany Snow. She had a statement here talking about her experience with the movie. She said, I'm really glad that I was at an age where there were so many other things that I was worried about as opposed to what critics thought of me. Talking about this movie was panned by critics. I was 21 and I really didn't care about what the critics said. Now, in hindsight, in my 30s, I care a lot more, I think. But I knew that it did really well at the box office. I knew that it was the number one movie for many, many weeks. And I knew going into doing Prom Night that it wasn't going to be Schindler's List. That's a fair point. I think there's a way of making an experience feel like it was more about the experience than the result. And I did feel like that was with Prom Night. I made one of my best girlfriends in that movie who was in my wedding. A lot good came from that. And so I guess it was a lesson in not caring what the results of something. I mean, hell, most horror movies, I don't want to say most, but a lot of horror movies, they do get panned by critics. And I think it's one of those situations where you almost have to like go into it expecting, unless it's something truly unique. If it's a formulaic horror movie these days and it comes out like say in January or something like that, more likely than not, it's probably not going to do the best with critics. You know, you really got to do something to stick your head out. But you can have a quote unquote bad horror movie and it could be fun as hell. You know, I'm sure there's people still to this day that watch the Prom Night remake. Some people, they just love remakes, you know? And I'll even say I like a lot of remakes. I do. So I think the one nice thing about remakes is it's like a modern version of the classics, and modern is different. You know, it's not going to feel like this movie doesn't feel anything like the original Prom Night. And I guess that's a good thing. You don't want it to feel exactly like the original Prom Night, but for me, it was just the annoying characters. I got really annoyed by the characters, and that's why I didn't like the Prom Night remake. And I don't want to talk about it anymore, okay? I'm done with it. We're going to go through this one real quick. This is Alien Romulus. I'm an Alien fanatic. I love Alien to death. And anytime a new Alien movie comes out, I'm going to watch it, you know? It's one of the few franchises where I think I like just about every movie in these, you know, I'm not talking AVP. I'm talking just Alien. The only one I don't really like that much that I can still throw in is probably Alien Resurrection. But, Alien, Aliens, Prometheus, Covenant, those are like freaking upper crust, top tier stuff, you know? I mean, I'll even say I put Prometheus especially on the same level. I mean, from a filmmaking standpoint, just look how epic and beautiful that movie is. It's Ridley Scott all the way. So, I mean, for me, it was I know some people don't like Prometheus and Covenant, but man, for me, it was just like candy. Okay. So let's read through this. You know, anytime there's a chance of another Alien movie, I'm on board. And Fede Alvarez, he directed Alien Romulus. Now, some good things here before I start reading is Romulus originally was going to come to I think Hulu. I think it was Hulu, and I guess there was a screening. And they decided, let's go ahead and put this in theaters. So it's actually coming to theaters. So Alien Romulus director Fede Alvarez took to Instagram to celebrate the production wrap on 20th Century Fox, next installment to the long-running sci-fi horror franchise. The upcoming movie marks the Uruguayan filmmaker's fourth directorial feature after over 5 years since directing The Girl in the Spider's Web, which was not that good. But Don't Breathe and Evil Dead are phenomenal. But more, you know, certain directors have a certain type of feel with their movies. And I think a marriage of Fede Alvarez and the Alien franchise is a no-brainer. He just is a visual type of director. His movies look gorgeous. And I think I'm curious to see what he could do with an Alien movie. And he's not afraid to show violence at all. There's a picture of him on the set on the last day, and they finished it up. So, but this is the first movie he's done in 5 years. I can't believe the Spider's Web movie was 5 years ago. Jesus. Who's the cast of Alien Romulus? Alien Romulus is directed by Alvarez from a screenplay he co-wrote with Rodo, his writing partner. They both worked together on Don't Breathe 1 and 2, and I believe they worked together on Evil Dead 2, the Evil Dead remake. The film will be led by Kaylee Spiani, The Craft, Legacy, Priscilla. I haven't seen either one of those, so I can't comment. Isabella Merced Sicario, And then David Johnson, Archie Renault, Spike Fern, and Eileen Wu. Franchise creator Ridley Scott is producing along with Michael Pruce. Further details about the plot and characters are still being kept under wraps. However, it is said to be unconnected to previous films. A fan of the iconic franchise himself, Alvarez had pitched a film idea to Scott several years ago in a casual conversation. This eventually led to Scott calling Alvarez last year to see if he'd still be interested, and it was quickly set. 20th Century Fox then picked up the new Alien movie due to the strength of Alvarez's pitch, as it was a really good story with a bunch of characters you haven't seen before, which is kind of the thing we talk about with Halloween. What if they went that direction? There was no other characters that we knew, just Michael Myers. So I'm curious. I don't mind them not having characters from the previous franchise. I don't think they need Ripley. If you were going to restart this franchise with a young Ripley, those are tough shoes to fill, right? So I don't. What do you guys think? Do you guys think would you be okay with them recasting Ripley? I'm curious to see what you guys think. I mean, I would watch it, but man, I wouldn't expect much. It's just so hard to fill those shoes of Sigourney Weaver. She, to me, she's just as great as Ripley as, say, like Stallone is as Rambo. What's up, guys? You are at the end of the DD Live clip. What I do is I like to clip these out if I think the topic is important or something that's newsworthy. So thank you for watching, and if you want to watch more, you can go over here, you can go over here, click on one of those, and hopefully I can do this for 20 seconds, which I think I did. Okay, so yeah, thanks for watching, guys.